Hello, Marlene. How are you?
Lisa, I'm doing.
Oh man, Marlene, I can't barely hear you.
Oh, hear me
Okay.
better? I'm
Oh,
gonna. Do you hear
you're
me
gonna
now?
what?
I'm gonna try to talk louder.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in. And if you missed the premiere that just came out, check that out when you have a chance. So, tonight's topic is about Social Security changes for 2026 and just getting ready and kicked off in 2026 in general. So, Marlene, we are two people that want to retire early. And uh, you have your timeline more set in stone than I do. But um, what do you think about the potential of the Social Security age rising when before our time officially comes around? It's at 67 right now.
Right. I think it's very frustrating for someone who had planned many years for this, and now that they find out that they have to work longer, and if they don't, they're going to lose benefits, lose money, lose a lot of things. I really think it's very unfair for them to spring this on the American people, but there's not really much that we can do.
Nope, there's nothing we can do about it. And there's so many elements to it that's frustrating. You don't get back what you put in. It's not the system, the whole thought process behind this is just so annoying. Yes, we work, it comes out of our check, but what we contribute is not tied to what we receive, or what our families will receive because some people there's no one to even pass it on to. But yes, it is what it is. And this is why I really I think about it. I of course want it because I've been working for many years and I've been contributing and I want to get my rewards back. But at the same time, I know that I need to have more than that. And so I'm so focused on my investing. And so let's talk about a few points of changes that are happening. Now, we are officially like to the point now where everyone there's no not a few months even you have to be a full 67 years old in order to get your full 100% benefits. And you can get a smaller check starting at age 62. So between 62 and 67, you want to tap in at 62, you're going to get 70% of your benefits. And then it goes up from there, 75% at 63. By the time you get up to 66 years old, you can get 93.3%. You're dead on at the 100% at 67. And then from 67 up to 70, you have an opportunity to get more than your 100% benefits. At 70 is the highest. They'll give you 124% of your Social Security benefits. Now, the average check is $2,071. Now, if that, like so many other things, it varies a lot based on your circumstances, especially because it is tied to your 35 highest earning years is how they go about calculating this. So that could be very drastically different depending on if you were in, a lower income position, or for a partial, some of your years you were a stay at home mom or something like that. That could greatly impact what your working years could look like. Um, and I did not know that off the top of my head about the 35 years. I think I might have heard it before, but I had to look it up in order to refresh myself. Did you know that offhand of how they calculate that, Marlene?
That is my first time hearing.
Oh, really? Oh. And so if you worked less than 35 years, they'll just put a zero in for the years that they aren't able to calculate. So in a way, that could kind of help you because your earnings will be based on the amount of years when you were actually physically working. So that's one thing we have to be ready for. And I'm going to get into a little bit of there's nothing officially. Uh, sorry, I'm getting a message. I want to make sure it is something related to the live. Okay. Yes, her volume is low. That's what I'm getting in my message. We've determined that. We're trying to work on that. Um, I really don't know what it could be. I don't
No,
think
it's
it's on.
up on my phone. It's at the maximum.
Okay. All right. So let me talk a little bit about. Okay. So there's nothing officially like on the books yet about raising the age more than where it currently is. But there are proposals that have been made, for example, by the Republicans to make the age 67 years old. And so that would be impacting those that are currently in the 30s to 50s. So when our time came around, the age would be 67. There's also people that are proposing 70 as the age. And this is really something that is it it's going to impact different people in different ways. So because there is a longevity index that needs to be taken into consideration. Some experts are proposing that they start indexing the age, which means that they would automatically increase by adding like 2 months, say every 2 years, as the average American life expectancy increases. So depending on, guys, you have to think about this. This is why I don't want us to be dependent on this social security check. We need to be investing, we need to be planning for ourselves, because when our time comes around, we don't know what this may look like. It might be up to 72, depending on how old you are currently and these changes that they're talking about here. So this is very controversial because they feel that this is going to impact people with lower incomes and people that work in more physically demanding jobs that aren't going to be able to continue working to those ages and may not really have any other background to do something else. And it's for some people, for a lot of people, I can think of many physical jobs that you don't that you would be too physically demanding potentially to do in your late 60s. What do you think about the divide that some of these things are going to create for lower income workers, as well as, like I said, people that have those more physically demanding jobs? And it's not going to be as easy. It would be more ideal for them to be able to retire at 62.
I agree with you because that's how I'm feeling. There are times where a person could be good and strong up to 70 years old, but there are some that are just struggling and they could be in their late 50s and they are really looking forward to 62 because physically they're ready to slow down and retire. So they're not going to be able to keep up with that. You know, those that sit and maybe do an office job or things like that, maybe in those cases, those individuals will be able to be able to continue on working. But I think, like you said, those who have physically demanding jobs, I think it will be almost impossible for them.
And there's also um, a potential of impacts on lower income individuals because statistically they have a lower life expectancy and are more um, dependent and looking forward to having the Social Security check for really a larger portion of what their income will be. So, by raising the age from 67 to 70, for example, that could take a reduction. The reduction on will be more impactful to what they potentially could receive than someone that has more resources, had a less demanding job, they potentially could have a life expectancy of 90 while someone else could be um, in their late 70s. So we don't know what to expect, and there is no way to project, but um, we need to just think about all of these things, especially that age, because we want to be prepared, and they're really taking it out on us, the people that, like I said, what we contribute is not what we get back, and so we have to be um, ready for the potential of the formulas changing, the whole rules changing, and who knows what each administration is going to bring to this. So okay. Well, I guess a good thing that is going to be changing in 2026 is the cost of living adjustment. It's going up to 2.8%. Last year, the increase was 2.5%. But at the same time, that's a good thing, but it's going to basically be impacted because the Medicare costs are going up. So the average retiree is paying $56 a month. And so a portion of that cost of living is going to kind of be impacted by that increase. And so we all dealing with rising prices, and the Medicare is going to be taken out automatically. So, there's no way around it. So, let's see. Let's take a look at the chat and see what's going on here. I see. Thank you for tuning in. A brother of a certain age, Philly life. Would the age increase affect everyone or just people born after a certain date? So, as of right now, you need to be fully 67 years old. But I'm just talking about the future. I don't think there's going to be any changes coming in. I know you're going to be retiring very soon in the next couple of years. I don't think there'll be any impact to you, the same schedule that I was going through. But I'm talking about people that potentially 15, 20 years away from retirement. I'm thinking that some of these changes might be impacted. And just like they took steps years ago to get the age moved up from 65 to 67, I think that most experts are anticipating something like that again. But exactly what year? I'm not sure of what year. So right now it's people born after 1959. So right now people born 1960 and plus have to be 67. They'll be fully 67 by November of 2026, and so that's where the age for everyone is falling at 67, not 66 in 10 months or 11 months. So I hope I'm trying to giving some clarity, but there's no there's speculation. We all know that they've been saying that we're running low as far as the amount of resources that are available, even though we've all been working and contributing all these years. So, did you take a look at that article that I sent, Marlene? Anything in there that kind of shocked you or made you think like we have to be ready to take care of our own selves?
After reading the whole, just in general, I was just thinking how many years that people do um, the pots, and you're not getting back what you have put in for all of these years already, and then they're increasing the age. And like I said earlier, that it's just so frustrating for so many people who are literally, they've been ready. Okay, say for instance, Lisa in chat, say you were ready to retire and you turn 65 and then you find out now that you have to add 2 more years. I'm thinking about those individuals as well, that what's really going to happen. We really don't know what's going to happen. At this point, it's kind of speculation. We really don't know for sure, but that's the biggest deal for me, is that you're not going to get back what you've put in.
Yeah, but just the way, just the structure of it, it's not like what you put in is yours. We're putting in what we've been contributing is for us, all these years that we've been working and contributing, it was going into the pot to go to the people that are actually currently collecting Social Security. Social Security is not tied to coming back to you in any way, shape, or form. So I think it's better than nothing, just like having a 401k as opposed to the way the structure used to be with a pension. But you have to put the work in order to really, reap the benefits. So let's see. And yeah, I think that people really need to be in tune with what their current earnings are and what potentially their Social Security payment will be. And, me telling you an average, that means nothing because 35 years of your life is what's going to determine how much you're going to be receiving. So it could be closer to $3,000, but what does that mean for you? How much is your current earnings, your current, expenses, and would that work for you in retirement to be highly dependent on your Social Security check? Are you putting enough into your investments? And do you have a plan on how you're going to be drawing from your investment portfolio to last you the indefinite amount of time that we're going to be retired? So let's see. Da, 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 da. Lisa and Marlene, good evening. I love the dedication. Doing a live show when most people like me is watching college football playoff game. Okay, you always do both. Thank you. Thank you. I think in the summer you try to squeeze me in too. Let's see each month that the difference each month that I weigh is $18 a month. Daryl, I'm not sure what this comment is about. Okay. All right. So, Life with Sharia, you got a gifted membership. Hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. So, those are just a couple of the changes that I wanted to touch on. The cost of living, but then the Medicare kind of coming right back in and eating up some of that increase when I'm sure that everyone needs that for their own personal expenses that come with groceries and everything else that is going up. But we need to be on top of this because we need to be thinking about this. I always want to just keep touching on these topics because we need to make a plan for ourselves. What age do you think you plan on retiring or maybe working part-time and tapping into receiving your payments? Are you trying to aim right now? Okay, if your time was now, if your retirement, year was coming up very soon, would you want to continue working to 67 to get your full benefit? Are you ready to tap in earlier and take a lower check potentially for hopefully a longer length of time in order to, be able to hang it up with working? What is I know you plan on retiring early. So but do you have an age of when you plan on actually tapping into your Social Security? Like what is do you have a estimate on the amount of years that you want to bridge until you're tapping into your Social Security and into your after 59 and a half when you can touch your actual retirement accounts?
That's what I planned on. I plan on waiting until the full age. I have things in place that will cover me until that time so that I can get full benefits.
Okay, so you're trying to aim for what we think is
That
going to be 67. But by the time we truly get there, could have some extra months or I hope not years added to it.
I hope not.
But yeah, like I was saying, I'm not sure. I didn't look up exactly how they went about increasing from the 65 up to the 67. But from what I was reading, analysts, experts, they're going to just continue to evaluate the life expectancy and then potentially say we can add after 2 or 3 years, they'll say like we're going to add another 2 months to the retirement age. So whatever it is, I'm just not looking forward to thinking about it. So I think I mostly prioritize and project based on my investment accounts. I think most of us might have the mentality of Social Security is just going to be an extra added bonus. How dependent do you think you're already planning on having to bridge your years for many years before even getting to the age where you can apply for Social Security? So at that time, do you just feel like it's just going to be just frosting on the cake, or at that point do you think that you'll be depleted in other areas and really looking forward to receiving it?
Well, I honestly, I have, for many, many years, my mom used to always say, don't depend on Social Security. Make sure you have something else in place. She didn't really talk about other things. So I've always been preparing since being a teenager that I wasn't going to depend on Social Security. For me, honestly, my Social Security is going to be just for groceries.
Okay, that's what you're imagining. It's going to be gross. Okay, 62 and 1 month is 18 more. So we have Daryl, aka Dr. Ninja, in the chat, and he says that he is going to be receiving his first Social Security check in February. He took it before 67 because he needs the money now.
Mm.
Okay, a bridge account is good idea for early retirement. What else would we have to live off of if we weren't trying to make some bridge accounts? I don't know.
I don't.
Um, does collecting early affect your payments once you turn 67 or collecting at 62 instead of waiting until 67? Dr. Ninja, do you have any insight on that? I said I was sharing the breakdown. So at 67, you get 70% of your total check. So I'm not sure if that's the question that you're asking. Your payment is always going to be based on the age that you tap into it. So once you make that decision to take it early, it's always going to be at that lower amount. You have to wait until, you're at least at the 100% year or higher, but you'll just get your regular cost of living increase. So there'll never be anything additional.
Mm.
Okay. I guess I'm answering the question, making some sense of here. So how has 2026 been going for you, Marlene? Is there anything that you plan on incorporating new this year?
This year I'm just trying to get as much money and just pad my account. I've been trying to cut back on things that I don't necessarily need, doing more investing, padding accounts, and seeing what accounts that I can merge, and trying to get higher interest rates on certain things. So that's what I'm doing in 2026.
Yeah, we have to be ready for those interest rates to come down. It was nice. I was looking back at one of my high yield savings accounts and I was thinking to myself, the balance, I wasn't clicking there. I was thinking to myself, the balance didn't I didn't take a lot of money out of that account. How come that it wasn't clicking that the interest is going to go down because the interest rate has been going down. I was looking at the balance of the account, but it's still what about 3.4%. So much better than my local bank, who I was wasted an hour of my life on the phone with this week. I saw a question come in about. Okay, let's see. Let's see if you can try to help me with this question. So, does Social Security disability affect my Social Security benefits if it's available when I turn 67? I'm currently 55. Now, listen, I'm just telling you this. I'm answering this question based on my own personal knowledge. Um, not financial advice. I may be making a mistake on what I'm saying, but I know two people personally that are on disability, and um, you're not going to receive both. It's going to be one or the other. What is your thoughts on disability as well as Social Security?
That was always my thoughts. Like you said, we could be incorrect, but I always thought it was either or.
Yeah, so if you're already receiving some type of disability payment, you're not going to receive anything additional related to Social Security because that is the payment that you're receiving. So my brother was on SS disability until he was 67. Then he switched to regular Social Security. Okay, do you know if the amount was different? I know someone that's on disability, and I don't think they made a switch. I don't know that at when they came to retirement age, they became disabled when they were in the retirement age already. So maybe that's why I'm not familiar with making the switch. I do have a friend that was disabled in her 40s. So maybe she'll have to do the switch the way you're talking about, and this person that just made the comment being 55, you'll have to make a switch. But does the amount potentially go up if you're I would think the amount would be the same even if you do make a change. I so she says, I knew it will switch, but will it lower? I don't think it should lower. Let me see. Okay, so Dr. Ninja's, I guess, referring to his brother's experience. No, much different because he did not work much his whole life. Okay. So I don't think that the amount should lower because I'm assuming that the calculation for your disability should be something similar to the calculation that they're going to use for Social Security. I mean, I'm just using my judgment on that because, like I said, the person that I'm closer with became disabled when she was in her 60s. And so there was no transition. The first time when we went to tap in for Social Security, they said, no, you're already getting disability. So that's going to be it. So, yes, very similar. So, but yeah, maybe you need to take the time to get in contact with them to see because you we want to be on top of these things. These are our finances, and there's no reason for us to be waiting and let something like this sneak up on us. As far as our finances being impacted, something going down, as you mentioned, is based on the 35 years of earnings. But I was referring to that with your Social Security payment. Is the disability breakdown similar? Okay, disability benefits are no longer paid as a person reaches their full retirement age. All benefits are paid based on age. There will be no change in payment amount. Okay. All right. It is so important to have additional income. Yes. So I think there's been some adjustments to that too, that you can still work and I think make about 25,000 and collect your Social Security. This is according to SSA. Okay. Okay. Thank you for looking that up, Willis. Wallace. And thank you for tuning in tonight. Okay, so some things that I've had on my mind to do, and I'm not a New Year's resolution kind of a person. I keep saying that, but it's just like a time of year when you just want to get things going. Of course, I just took my Christmas tree down, so that's done. But it's time to get ready for tax season. And I'm going to sit down and do a full net worth update. I don't do it every month because it takes time to look up your car value and the house value and all of that. But I try to do it every couple of months. Do you do a full net worth in order to just know where you stand on a regular basis, Marlene?
No, I usually just do once a year.
Once a year? Okay. Yeah, it's been some time, but like I said, um, it there's gonna be some good the car values always go down, but there can be some good things in there too, of just seeing, the update of when you see the progress of your investment accounts and, the property values going up, because usually those are, things that are always going up, and so guys, let me know in the chat. Do you guys do a full net worth and evaluate where you stand as far as your debt, as far as how much you're making progress on paying down your homes, if you have a mortgage and things like that? Do you take the time to get on the investment calculator and put in your current investment portfolio amounts and project out how much in 5 years or 10 years that where you're at should grow to? Even if you don't take into consideration your contributions, where the balance is currently, where it can potentially get up to. So unfortunately, no to the net worth or no to both. And let me see, NG, I'm not sure what I can call you. So anything on your minds, Marlene? I think my topic was a little light.
Well, that's honestly, I your topic got me really thinking about how much am I really dependent on my social security. It got my wheels turning, like and really made me think that I really need to focus on making sure I'm doing more investing and making sure I'm padding my accounts according to where I want to be, not where the depending on the government to pay me a check. I have to be responsible for taking care of my, and that really got my wheels turning. I don't know about everybody else, but it really got my wheels turning. Like, I need to do better if I want to be okay, because none of us know how long we're going to live, how much money we'll need. So we can't really depend on the checks. You got to have some supplements.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So another little goal that I have for myself is seeing my portfolios increase to the point where right now I think at Fidelity, my retirement accounts, I'm getting a score of 135. I would like to see that get to 150%, meaning that I have 150% of what I feel that I need when I retire based on the budget and the information that I've given them. Do you use Fidelity?
I do.
Have you do you have that little have you given them that your details of what you anticipate needing in retirement to have that score listed in your app? You
Give it
haven't?
an idea, though.
I'm giving you an idea. Yeah. It takes time and it's nothing. It's just an estimate, but I think it's better for us to use the investment calculator, make projections, get estimates. It's better than just flying, just letting time pass, letting decades pass and letting these things just sneak up on us and yeah, we're on, we have no money to pay for our medical coverage and our prescriptions. We want to make sure that we're making steps to not have to struggle. So um, even if we don't get it perfect, at least we're trying. I'm just trying to give the encouragement to put some effort into putting some numbers in and trying to figure out what you potentially could need, because so many things, if you don't take a look at things until you sit down, even your regular daily budget, until you really sit down and comb through it, you're not going to realize how much money you've been spending on takeout or just, certain things like that. You I'm sure that all of us, unless we uh really are that in tune with our budget, we would make a mistake if we were just asked off the top of our heads without, going to our I go to my planner is where I kind of do my whole month layout of everything. But a lot of times if you ask someone how much you pay on utilities, how much do you spend on takeout in a month, if you the answer that you would give automatically is probably not tied correctly to if we sat down and really added up all of those numbers. Okay, it applies to you take advantage of tax loss harvesting. If it applies to you, take advantage. Okay. And Mimi, thank you for tuning in. We're just talking a little bit about retirement. We wind up touching a little bit on disability and a few other topics. I'm sorry I missed it. Can you explain again how to figure out your net worth? So your net worth is going to be your assets minus your liabilities. I do mine, and just, I don't do anything in a fancy way. I'm not going to spend money for any budgeting or anything. I just do most everything in like an Excel spreadsheet or pen and paper of going through all the savings accounts, all of the investment accounts, then the things, the current value of my cars, and all the assets, and then list out the liabilities. How much I still have a mortgage, Marlene does not. How much the current value of the house, how much I owe on the house, and just having figure out the calculations of what my total net worth is, what my total assets under management are. I was having a conversation with someone, and I really never thought about I use that term of assets under management sometimes when I'm talking about an ETF or something like that. But do you ever use that term when you're thinking about your own personal finances, Marlene? And do you think differently of, are there certain assets that you put like in different categories? Like I guess I could consider myself a millionaire if, when I take all of the assets under management, the properties, the retirement accounts, my business, put all the things together. How do you think, have you ever had a conversation with someone and kind of had a different thought process around what your assets truly are?
Yeah, I have, and that's so important who you associate yourself with. You always want to have people around you that, I wouldn't say that are smarter, but have a sharper business mindset than you do, because it gets you thinking. Just like if you didn't have this conversation, I wouldn't be thinking of social security and what I can do to improve certain things in my investments and padding my portfolios. I was thinking about that. That's why it's important for us to have these conversations. And I'm so glad that you've done this one, Lisa.
Okay, okay. So Wills is asking our opinion about leasing a vehicle versus purchasing a vehicle. What are your thoughts on this? Do you want to answer first?
What was it? Leasing versus.
Leasing versus purchasing a vehicle. I definitely have my thoughts.
Yeah. Well,
What are you?
I personally have never believed in owing anybody. I'm more of, like I've said to you before, I'm more of a cash person. I rather save, wait, and then just go and outright buy what I want. So that's I don't believe in leasing. That's my answer. I rather just
Okay. So it's been quite a few years now since I've purchased the car. The last car that I did purchase, I it was a used car. I think it was about a little over 3 years old. I think it was a lease that someone turned in that I bought. So I bought it from a dealer. I put down over $10,000 on the car on my credit card. They did take my credit card from my that portion that I did pay. Um, and because I love to get my points and cash back, unlike Marley. I'm the credit card person. Well, that because I'm just throwing that in. But let me get back to what I'm supposed to be focused on here. So, because I put a pretty substantial down payment, the car was less than 20,000. I know the car prices are crazy right now, but nothing fancy. And I had my car payment was very low. It was about $135. Um, and so I got it paid off rather quickly. I could have bought the car outright, but I decided to, keep some cash for other things that potentially could happen. So my thought process is I don't ever want to have a car payment more than 2 or 3 years at the most. So my way about keeping myself in a reliable, good vehicle is buy a used car, get it paid off as quickly as possible. I would never lease a vehicle, but um, it just doesn't fit into my financial plan and the journey that I'm trying to create for myself. I'm much more focused on making sure I have assets that are going to be able to stay with me for the long term and, build. It's like I was talking about with the net worth update. Everything in there is going to go up except for the value of my car. Every time I go to update that, the value of my car is going to go down. And so, yeah, that's, I understand. I know that the car that I have right now, I probably pushing about 115,000 miles at least. So I know it's not going to last me the rest of my days, but when I need to change to another car, it will definitely be another used car that I can get, a good substantial another amount of years out of. Because when I go to update my spreadsheet, I want to see things going up. The car always goes down, but I just have to find ways to make sure that the good always outweighs the bad. And me paying on a car and then turning it in and don't have anything to show for it, it doesn't fit into the plan that I have for myself. Okay. Along the same lines, if you have the cash, do you think it's better to purchase a home outright or get a mortgage? I've never been in the position to um, to purchase a home outright. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's good to have that tax write-off and take the time? I would say, listen, I'm not trying to carry debt for no reason. Unless if something carries interest and I have the resources to buy it outright, I'm going to buy it outright. I'm not going to carry debt, even if it is mortgage debt, which is very substantial. I'm not going to carry unless something is interest free. I'm not going to carry debt for no reason. And that's my thoughts on that. What are your thoughts, Marlene?
you guys already know Marlene is always about being. That's always if it's not possible for you to buy it outright, I would recommend you putting as much as a payment down as possible so that you can offset your mortgage payment, because that's what I did. I put a considerable amount down so that my payment would be, even if I was laid off from a job, I could go work at fast food and still make my mortgage payment.
Mhm. Well, you saying that is, do you think, I'm not sure what your background is, if it's healthcare or, more of, um, corporate America, but do you think if it really came down to it and you wanted to get a job at the bagel shop down the road, do you think that they would hire you? Do you think that you could get a regular job? What could we write on the resume, on the application to get a regular job? Have you ever I've thought about that and I
I
don't.
already I already said, Lisa, if I had to go and get a regular job, I probably would be working at like a coffee shop because you get pretty good tips.
But do you think that they would hire you? What about Marlene's background? What could I say to get a job at the Wendy's?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like I could probably really sell myself. I really needed that job. I think I could sell myself. I feel confident.
I was, at one point in between jobs, had been laid off, applied for a job, and I couldn't get past my HR phone screening. The person thought that I was overqualified and would be bored in the role and would not, let me move forward to have an interview with the hiring manager. And I'm thinking to myself, listen, I'm unemployed. I applied for the job. I'm assuring you that it's not rocket science. It's not anything difficult. I definitely can do the job. But for this person to think she's going to get bored, they don't think, I guess she got the feeling that I'm not going to want to stay long term. I'm going to want to advance more quickly than what, potentially they were, you know, but yeah, it's very annoying. But I'm just talking hypothetically. If I was to go there, there's a main road not too far from me where there's all those type of places, and I don't know what about me could get me a job. I think they would be like, yeah, she's not going to stay, even if I was willing to work. Hi, Eric. Thank you for stopping by, tapping in. With all your assets, you have it set up in a trust. I do not have a living trust. I do not have a living trust, but I have some things in place. Uh, Definitely have need to do more in those departments. Thank you, ladies. Have been very helpful. You have a good rest of your evening if you are leaving. But along the same lines, if you have. Okay. All right. So, guys, drop any questions that you have. This was just a little, I thank God that I haven't been put in that position, but if I need to, I thank God that I haven't been put in that position, but I would if I needed to. You would go and get any job that you could. Not sure what that comment is. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on those couple of changes. I just want some good, some bad, just a light update on what's going on with Social Security, and just to give an update or a reminder as I want this channel to be, of making sure that we are striving to be on a financial journey that is going to allow us to take care of our older selves, be financially free, potentially, at least financially stable, and just making sure that we're having our minds open and thinking about these things, so that you can never say that you didn't know because you were here tonight. So this stuff cannot just sneak up on you, of you didn't realize that your Social Security check was going to be so low. You weren't putting the effort into building up your investment accounts and things like that. Now, I have not done this, but you can go onto the Social Security website, and um, do some research in order to determine what your potential Social Security will be. And you did it?
Yeah.
How long ago?
Like 2 years ago, and I was like, my mouth was open. I was like, I really got
That's
to get.
it? Okay, I need to do it. I need to do it. I actually, Anthony from About That Wallet, he recently did a video on that and running through it while he was on a live stream. It's something that I need to put more effort into, but I just like, I think that I just been so focused on building my portfolios and knowing, what growth I'm trying to achieve and just, going in the right direction there, that I'm not putting enough attention into having an understanding of how much my Social Security will be. But years and years and years ago, some of you may remember, they used to send us a statement in the mail. But they stopped that a while back because of, identity theft and things like that. So now we have to do a little bit more work. It's not just going to fall into your lap. So I was born on a plantation in Mississippi. I don't think that my job is tougher than the work that you had to do there. I joined the Navy, and from there I found my career path. Okay. Yeah, what I was touching on with what I was saying is we might have a willingness, we might have a need and a willingness to do whatever in order to earn some money, but it's those things of, would someone give you the chance, or would they bring their own, feelings and stigma against, I don't think she would do well at this job. But yeah. So this is our first live stream together for 2026. Be on the lookout for additional either Finance Friday or Wealth Weekends live streams from Marlene and I. This is Marlene Motivates. I am Lisa J. Stocks. Next time around, we'll be streaming on her channel. We do not dual stream, we rotate. So make sure, I always try to share out when I'm over on her channel, so you can find me over there. And we'll be talking things about staying financially on track to make a better life for ourselves. So let me just finish with a station break. I know I didn't ask Marlene before we got started what the end time was going to be, but I know you wanted an earlier start time. So my regular like work day and everything ends at 7:30. So I know.
That, Lisa.
Yes. So I made sure, I said it ahead of time. Can I make sure to be done with work by 7 p.m.? And yeah, they were able to accommodate that. But my normal work day ends at 7:30-ish. And it's easier when I'm working remote because I'm already here. So, but 7:30 and having to drive, that adds more time, of course. And thank you so much, Nicole. Are you, I don't think I've ever seen you before, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for chatting. And I hope you come back and, leave questions, comments. Guys, I just premiered a new video right before the live. So if you didn't watch that and then get redirected into the live stream, please go check that out sometime this weekend. And another great show. Thank you. You definitely will. I appreciate that. So make sure to give the live a thumbs up. Subscribe to Marlene Motivates. Check out my referral links. Do all the things. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. And we will see you sometime soon. And guys, tune in on Sunday also. I'm going to be live on Sunday, and it's going to be my birthday live stream. My birthday is next week. Happy birthday to all the Capricorns out there. And that's it. We will see you soon. Have a good rest of your weekends.
And to investments, she made a lot on YouTube. J Stock. Lisa J Stock, that's the channel. Hey. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stock. Yeah. You will make a lot. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stock. Okay. She'll make it pop. If you wanna make some money, visit Lisa J Stock. Yeah. Hey.